Hello, my people. Welcome back to Breaking News Nigeria. My people, this one no be ordinary talk again. No, Sowore don finally send a last warning to the Nigerian authorities after everything that happened at the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest, the tear gas, the intimidation, the arrest. But guess what? He said we will be back stronger. Now, this statement alone carries serious weight. When Sowore says we'll be back stronger, he's not just talking about physical presence. He's talking about resilience, strategy, and unity. This is a signal that the movement isn't dead, it is regrouping. It means they are going to come back with more organization, more supporters, and even international attention. Sowore is reminding the system that intimidation cannot silence people who are demanding justice and freedom, especially when it concerns someone like Nnamdi Kanu, whose case has become a national and international issue. So this last one is not about violence, it's a political message. Sowore is saying, we are watching, we are not afraid, and will not give up. It's a wake-up call to the government that Nigerians are becoming more political. Anyway, guys, I love you guys to listen to what Sowore said. What he really said, that he's coming back stronger, meaning that they are going to still come back and organize another protest, in the sense that this one is going to be, more organized, a newer strategy that are going to use and come. Guys, watch this video and drop your thoughts in the comment section for I'll be right back.
The Nigerian police fired tear gas and some reports say live ammunition and occupied major roads here in Abuja to stop peaceful demonstrations called to protest against the continued detention for more than 7 years of the separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu, who's on trial facing terrorism charges. In the Abuja city centre, heavily armed police, supported by soldiers in a massive show of force, patrolled with water cannon and armoured trucks, firing volleys of tear gas wherever they saw protesters trying to gather. Mr. Kanu leads the banned Indigenous People of Biafra Movement, or IPOB, a group that advocates for the secession of southeast Nigeria. Mr. Kanu's supporters say his detention in the last decade is politically motivated. They want him released and the 7 counts of terrorism against him, to which Mr. Kanu has pleaded not guilty, quashed.
Nnamdi Kanu was first arrested in October 2015 upon his return from the UK. He was later released on bail in April 2017 on health grounds. Later that year, his trial was disrupted when soldiers invaded his home in Abia State, leading to the deaths of some of his followers. Mr. Kanu subsequently fled the country, but was rearrested in Kenya in June 2021 and extraordinarily renditioned to Nigeria. In April 2022, the Federal High Court struck out 8 of the 15 charges against him, citing a lack of merit. Later, in October 2022, the Court of Appeal ordered his immediate release and quashed the remaining charges. However, a year later, the Supreme Court overturned that decision, allowing the federal government to continue his trial on the remaining counts. Mr. Kanu's continued detention has sparked growing public outcry and renewed calls for his release, culminating in today's protest. Rita Osakwe, Arise News.
So, after today's demonstration, will there be more protests, or perhaps a protest epiphany, a eureka moment that will lead to Mr. Kanu's release? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the main organizer of today's Free Nnamdi Kanu protest, the political activist and former presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore. And I'm also joined by the public affairs analyst, Mazi Nnamdi Dixon Iregu, who is both a member of the People's Democratic Party and an obedient, and who took part in today's demonstration. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
You look a bit red-eyed there. I wonder why.
Well, it's been a lot of tear gas inhalation today, and a lot of attacks by the Nigerian police. So I haven't done anything else than just protest. And we also ended up at the FCT command of Nigerian police to get some of the lawyers, because Nnamdi Kanu's main lawyer was arrested, a lawyer Jima, because his younger brother was arrested, and 11 others. We went to see them, and they gave us a hope, false hope, that they'll be released tonight. But we found out on our way here that they'll be moved to a place called Laboratoire, which is one of the reasons why there was NSAS in 2020. It's a major torture chamber of the Nigerian police. So they also tear gassed us right in front of their office this evening.
So more than 7 years in detention, almost a decade in fact, and he's still not been found guilty of any crime. And your contention is that in line with the Nigerian constitution, which says that a man is innocent until proven guilty and which calls for the speedy dispensation of justice, it's time to set this captive free. Is that a fair assessment and the reason you led today's protest?
Yes, it is because also the Court of Appeal in 2022 did take a decision, a decisive decision, that having been extraordinarily renditioned from Kenya, kidnapped is the other word for it, there are no charges that can hold in that court, and he was asked to be released. That judgment ought to have taken effect immediately was given, but the Nigerian government did not honor that judgment. They claimed they were going on appeal. An appeal does not constitute a stay when personal liberty is involved. He's been discharged. There's nothing that could have held him except to get a brand new detention order, which they didn't, because they were not interested in any trial. They were interested in subduing and subjugating Nnamdi Kanu for committing a crime against the real estate called Nigeria, which is to say, look, we may want to think about our own country, considering that this country has no respect for our dignity, our culture, and our safety. So I have laid this out before, and I have also looked at the case notes. I worked with the lawyers. I am in a position to tell you when I see a useless case, because I get charged severally for this kind of frivolous cases. Nnamdi Kanu is not being held for committing terrorism. No, it's being held because he is an Igbo man who wants Nigeria to either allow justice to the Igbo man or let the Igbo man be. That is the crime Nnamdi Kanu committed. It's a crime committed with a microphone, not an AK-47.
Right. Okay, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, but Mazi Dixon, I wonder what your reaction, because you kind of lost your voice there. I wonder what your reaction is to the fact that the march that you attended was tumbled, let me put it that way, by the police. They fired tear gas to disperse the protesters, and you apparently fell victim to that show of force and to that tear gas. And clearly, I wonder whether that cast a shadow on things for you, how much it did cast a shadow.
Charles, please permit me first of all to commend my brother here, Sowore. I was born 7 years after the Civil War, and for the first time in my adult life, I felt loved as an Igbo man by other Nigerians. Another Nigerian took it upon himself to say enough of this balkanization of fatherland.
Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it?
But that's what it is.
Igbos are across the country doing business and attending to their affairs.
That is earned by merit. I'm talking about someone sacrificing his own liberty to say there's a brother in there, because an injury to one should be an injury to all. If we are to build our country, then indeed we must have that understanding that together we should, not by letting some people out of this whole process. So, my brother Sowore, thank you. Thank you for showing love to a fellow countryman, because it's difficult. Look at what Nigerians are going through.
But to be fair to Sowore, he's shown that same love to
No. You see, I'm talking for myself as an Igbo man.
Okay.
Because the case here is that Nnamdi Kanu being incarcerated today is simply because he comes from that part of Nigeria. Because what's his crime? It's not just about, oh, you're not treating my people fine or not treating my people well. It's also about, this is not how to build a nation. So if we can't build this nation the way it should be, then please, we can't stay here. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there's something wrong with it, call him to the table and discuss what are the issues. Okay, if you are not comfortable, what can we do better to ensure that some of those grounds of yours can be addressed and all that. So sincerely, today again, being that it was peaceful, because it was well declared by the convener of this very protest that it is a peaceful protest, and it was peaceful. But go around Abuja, if this was how the Nigerian police force was tackling insecurity in our country, we won't be here. We won't be discussing insecurity in Nigeria. Nobody could move. We just assembled, and before you knew it, they started, not just tear gas, live bullets were released. Not just at one location. Even when we now said, okay, since you have stopped us from convening around this so-called big men area, we're moving to the people. We moved from there to Beggar, roundabout, and then from there we moved to, they came there and moved us to Otako. They still came that way, tear gassed and all of that, and then moved also to Apo and all that. You now wonder, what is it that the Nigerian government really wants from the Nigerian people?
Right.
For us to be violent? Is it because we decided to be peaceful? Right. So indeed, it's unfortunate that this is the country that we find ourselves, but it cannot continue this way.
Well, Mr. Sowore, let me come back to you. The protests obviously gained a lot of traction on social media. You're very influential on social media and beyond, and it probably alarmed the government. Especially after the U.S. Embassy. Especially after the U.S. Embassy cautioned its citizens to stay away from the protest locations in Abuja. Were you surprised that your call for a protest gained as many followers as quickly as it did?
Well, it wasn't only on social media. It happened everywhere around Abuja. We had 6 spots where we had thousands of people converge in march. We were at Utako. We were at Apple, which has the largest crowd.
Turnout, yeah.
We were at Gudu, and we then relocated to the FCT command, where we were tear gas, but we were attacked ruthlessly everywhere we went. What these people are telling you is that you cannot be a peaceful person in Nigeria and get away with it.
Yeah.
You can only be violent and get away with it, because if we were terrorists or bandits, as they call them, we could have been walking around Abuja today with ammunition, and nobody will come near us. But fortunately or unfortunately, people like me have chosen a non-violent approach to resolving issues. But that doesn't mean that a generation is not coming that will not accept this nonsense.
But I mean, you know that what happens when these protests take place is that they tend to metamorphose into something bigger, and the government knows that beyond the specific case of Nnamdi Kanu, you and other opposition politicians, he's an opposition politician, you often intend to wake up the spirit of the masses who say, you know, they're fed up with bad governance. I mean, your movement, by the way, is called Revolution Now.
Yes, and I won't deny that. In fact, I think the traction around this particular protest was beyond just Nnamdi Kanu. People are fed up with the system, and they cannot deal with the fact that somebody who hasn't committed any offense known to law, an offense that is triable, that's the way I'll put it, is held in detention. Whereas that same week, the president is pardoning drug dealers, kidnappers and murderers, and Nnamdi Kanu, who you can't establish any offense against, is kept perpetually detained, he's tortured, he's harassed, his lawyers, his lead lawyers were speaking, is in detention.
I have to say that the time is ridiculously long.
Yes.
I mean, upwards of 7 years in detention. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all.
You see, the larger Nigerian nation is itself an open prison. I spent 5 years here over a bowl.
So sort of Gaza.
Yeah,
that was
but Gaza is better than Nigeria in some ways.
I wouldn't go that far, to be honest.
Gaza, throughout this period of bombardment, had electricity. so I had some kind of water supply that you can't get here. The sewage was. I am not in any way saying this, so you don't misunderstand me in the future. But Nigeria is, you can't even define what is wrong with Nigeria. It's like a nation that is at war, with itself and against itself. Yeah. And when you see this happen, what we have experienced with Nnamdi Kanu, with terrorists walking around, the federal government even went and attended the naming ceremony of one of the bandits after they met in Katsina. You would ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I in a country like this? And that is probably why most people call Nnamdi Kanu a prophet, that he saw into the future that this country is not the kind of country you want to have your children in. And there's nothing wrong if you want your own country. This international law recognizes that. You know, if I declare Sowore Republic tomorrow, what are you going to do to me? You know, arrest me and detain me perpetually? No, it is not done. So what we're saying here, when you see injustice, you know it, and you don't need to be told that the way and manner injustices are handled in Nigeria have colorations. Sometimes it may not be ethnic, but it might be religious, it might be political. I was around throughout Abiola's persecution. Abiola did not declare more than saying, I'm president because I won an election. He died in detention. They kept saying, we were fighting in those days, oh, Abiola is in detention, Abiola is being handled by the courts, it's being handled by the court. He wasn't being tried. The Supreme Court had gone on break. So the same thing that I'm alarmed, and I'm saying this to anybody who is watching, I'm alarmed, I'm shocked that we're in a country where there's anybody who feels what is being done to Nnamdi Kanu is okay. You know, and I say this particularly of my Yoruba brothers who make these comments. Some of them even have the audacity to send me messages personally. Oh, you know, they'll be sending you all these videos, you know, because your brother is in power. But I was the only person when Sunday Igboho's house was raided and all his people were, including his cat, was killed. I was the only person in this Abuja who went to the Federal High Court who pushed the DSS out of the front of the courtroom. And that was the day his people were granted bail. Nobody talked about it. Yeah. There are Yoruba activists who went and invaded a radio station in Ibadan. Have you heard about them anymore? Even Sunday Igboho, my brother, is back. He's actually, you know, he's moving around freely. Nnamdi Kanu has never carried a weapon before. Most of these guys have done things like that. Why are we treating the Igbo man differently? And I'm not saying that to whip up something, because I'm ashamed, of course, of these Southeastern leaders. Because when I was on your show last time, you remember, I was saying that Nnamdi Kanu is being kept in detention deliberately by Southeastern politicians. They showed themselves in the last few days. The deputy speaker was asking people not to join peaceful protests. You know, all the governors kept quiet about it. The Ohaneze Ndigbo person in our heads is, you know, is a weaker version of Ohaneze Ndigbo. He's saying that nobody should go out to fight for the freedom of a person who is innocent of any crime. And we are here saying it is normal. It is normal. Even the policemen who were shooting at us today were fighting for them a month ago to get their pension and gratuity. They were the ones shooting at us. They saw me today, came close to me, and they were shooting directly at me. 4 times today, the policemen I fought for. There's something wrong with this country, sir.
Let me ask you this, Dixon Irebu. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, do you believe that it will stop his group from calling for the Southeast to secede from Nigeria, assuming that is the issue? Or is it something that is beyond him alone, and therefore he should not be held entirely responsible for it? Because I think somebody made the point earlier today that you had the Biafra war before him, and of course groups like MASOB, etc., before IPOB.
Yes. Even Nnamdi Kanu is released today, first what it will bring is a separation from the call for secession, or for the call for Biafra, away from the criminals who have wrecked the Southeast today. What we want is to redeem the most peaceful part of Nigeria, which Southeast used to be before 2015, that APC took over our government, and Buhari continued with whatever Buhari started with whatever it is that he had against the Southeasterners. But we thought, okay, Tinubu has come. What is he doing there? If he wants to unite the country, why not bring everybody's interests to the table? So release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu may not necessarily end call for secession or call for Biafra. Biafra is no more about secession, really. Biafra is now more like a religion. Because, Charles, 3.5 million Nigerians were slaughtered in that war. There is no household in Igbo land today you go to that you won't have one person or the other that was lost in their family. So it will be difficult, therefore, to forget Biafra. What will bring about an end to the call for secession will be this country allowing for equity for all, justice for all, fairness for all. That is what will end any form of secession, whether it is Yoruba nation or Biafra nation. I am not part of call for any nation at all. I believe in Nigeria, but not this kind of Nigeria. I want a Nigeria where everybody can at least go to court, ask for justice, and get it. But now it is the highest bidder. We're not running democracy anymore in our country, because if this was democracy, freedom of association and protest as we had today and all of that would have been allowed. What we have are plutocrats who are afraid of the people, because today we saw how scared the elites are. They are scared stiff. They don't want us to get together to indeed demand for our common good. So I am only saying that releasing Nnamdi Kanu so that the criminals can be treated as criminals, so that people will not be committing the kind of crimes that we're seeing in the southeast in the name of Nnamdi Kanu. And I don't think, if the commander-in-chief really understands what he's commanding, I don't think he should continue to give deaf ears to the call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. He should be released as immediately as possible.
Mr. Sowore, I wonder how much you were influenced by protests in other parts of the world. I mean, we've had Madagascar recently, we've had Nepal. I mean, these are the kind of things that maybe worry the government. Protests involving people known as Gen Z, and I mean, we saw a whole bunch of them coming here with you. One assumes, of course, as you have yourself repeatedly pointed out, that your approach is different. Because in Nepal, for instance, they burned down everything. But I understand that obviously you want your protests to be peaceful and pacific.
Yes, because I've often stated that justice for all, for me, is not specific enough. You know, it's a bogey. And we have to specifically ask for things that would advance the progress of Nigerians or the people who live within the boundaries of a country called Nigeria. I do not believe in violence. That I've stated, but I've been protesting since I was 21 years old, and that's to remind people who are with even Dixon and I were arrested in 2021 by Hassan, the DPO of Secretariat.
Nnamdi was brought back from Kenya.
We went to attend Nnamdi Kanu's trial. So I've been at this for a long time. But you know, anybody who is discerning, who is the leader of Nigeria, should know that these young people are watching what's happening in Nepal and other places. And, you know, deploying people on social media to discourage them is not going to discourage them. We now heard that there's a coup, or an attempted coup. So everything, you know, the jigsaws are coming into place.
Those are reports that are verified. Well, and let me just point out that the Defense Department denied that any such thing took place.
Well, you know, anything they deny is something you should believe, especially when it comes to those kind of
but we have to kind of balance the story.
So, but what I'm saying is that Nigerians are watching, and you can't use barbed wire to separate them from their leaders forever. One day they will step over the barbed wires, the tear gas will not work, it won't stop anybody, water cannons will be useless.
Even the bullets, how many
bullets, the moment you kill a few people,
but I'm wondering, I mean, you said you've been protesting since you were 21.
Yes.
I mean, do you, after all those years, do you think that people have a disproportionate amount of power to effect change? Because it doesn't seem to be happening in this, if you like, bifurcated, many channels political world that Nigeria has become, or Nigeria is.
If there was no protest in Nigeria, Nigeria would have gone completely to the dogs. If there hasn't been protests over separate different issues,
even
Nigeria wouldn't have
protest.
You know, left military dictatorship. Maybe we'll be like Cameroon now, where the person who is president is dead, brain dead, but alive to elections. So nobody should discountenance protests. I met Goodluck Jonathan recently, and I'm glad Aisha is here with us. She has been abusing me about it on her YouTube show. a lighter note. And I said, can you come protest?
It's not fair to say that she can't reply to
She
you
replied
right away.
She's my friend, I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
But when we spoke up to the point, I said, can you join this protest? He said, no, I'm a former head of state. I can't participate in a protest. I said, but if you run for election and you lose, the first thing you do is to go and protest. Protest, there's nobody in Nigeria that has not participated in protests, from president to high school kids. Buhari was a protester in this country until he became president. Tinubu was funding all the protesters in Nigeria since June 12 and beyond, up to 2015 until they captured power and they now hated protesters. The ones that cannot protest always reach out to people who can help them protest whenever they're in trouble. I get that from all these people all the time. This Nnamdi Kanu that we're talking about once protested on behalf of Orji Zokalu when he was being tried for corruption. Orji Zokalu is now one of the people who says, oh, Nnamdi Kanu should let the court process be completed. But when he was tried for corruption, what did he do? He ran to the APC because he cannot trust Nigerian courts. These are the kind of people you have in these political parties who are so dishonest and hypocritical.
They don't care about
And like I said, there's a generation watching. And that generation is what the biblical people say that the next Pharaoh may not know Joseph. Abi? Yes.
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh.
Who knows that?
Let me ask you this, because very briefly, because we're almost out of time. A lot of dust has been raised by today's protest, no question about that. But is it likely to make things better or worse for Mr. Kanu? 30 seconds.
It should make it better because the statement was loud and very resounding. I believe those living in their high fences in the villa heard very loudly that the people are demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. I just want to believe that they should respond to that.
A final word from you, Mr. Sowore. What happens next with your stated desire to mount pressure on the government to release Nnamdi Kanu?
If they don't, there will be a bigger murder of all protests. Again, we will announce the date, but let me say this. I'll give them a period of grace to get their acts together and do this as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll be back.
Okay, on that note, I want to thank both of you very much indeed, and to say that I think a lot of Nigerians would agree that you're both very courageous.
Thank you.
Omoyele Sowore is a political activist, former presidential candidate, and main organizer of today's Free Nnamdi Kanu protests, and Mazin Nnamdi.
People want to go. Yes, because I cannot imagine that in 2025, under a democratic government, I will be tear gassed for participating in peaceful protests.
You have been on the street for this police officer.
Yes.
Who have been complaining.
No, I don't fight so that people will appreciate me. I fight because my conscience tells me I'm doing what is right. You understand? Okay. Even as I'm speaking with you, the lawyer to Nnamdi Kanu is being pushed into the cell. His younger brother is being pushed to the cell. And we are warning the new Commissioner of Police, because I heard he was brought purposely to come and do this, that he will be disgraced like those who came before him in this application. He must release Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, and his brother, Fine Boy Kanu, immediately. Otherwise, we will mobilize everybody down to that FCT. And it will be very, very unfortunate if he doesn't do that. Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu! Free Nnamdi Kanu! Free Nnamdi Kanu! Yes, that's why we are here. And well, today was massive success. The only thing is that we are going to announce a new date again. And that one will be, they have seen now that we can shut down this Abuja. And you know Abuja, not even the Federal High Court, where we're supposed to go and defend our case today, sat. Because everywhere was shut down. And we are happy that Umar here shut down. Massive protests everywhere. So Tinubu better understand now that we are not joking, we are not playing.
Sowore, it's been a rat race, if we call it that, since morning up until this day. We say that the police and the security agencies were particularly looking for not just you or other organizers of the protest. It am I reading that you're standing right now, right here in front of the force because as yet nobody.
Each time I get arrested, I volunteer myself. There's never a time the police wanted me that I did not show myself, make myself available. They are not looking for protesters or organizers. They are trying to crack down on organizers. And I know the reason. The new guy they just brought, they call him Mila Dantawaye, is trying to please Tinubu and the illegal IG here and Wike. That's why he's doing this. But we have said this, we have seen worse policemen before. I see them, some of them in my university days. They are the same people we are fighting for who are retired now. No gratuity, no pension. So they'll be doing bad things to your people. One day you will face the consequences.
Yeah. What assurance for the you said that you're going to announce a new date for another protest. What assurance of the safety of those that will come out for the protest? Seeing what happens.
We will discuss that when we get there.
Innocent Nigerians that we are having their peaceful protest.
The IG to release all
this.
They
said that they have court order that we should not be in the central area. We left central area, we went to Otako side. They used tear gas and rubber bullets to attack innocent Nigerians. Those of them in Apo who are protesting, they have arrested all of them, including Nnamdi Kanu's Lego team. They have been arrested. We went to FCT Police Command. They said no, that is a national issue. In fact, the PRO there was very rude. I must say it. He was very, very rude. He was insulting me. I know that girl is not qualified to be a house help. So after the insult, he said that I should come here. He contacted the first PRO, CSP Benjamin. I've been calling him. The CSP Benjamin said that we should come. I've been here now calling him. I will ask them at the gate. They said that we should call him. I don't know whether he doesn't pick the call. He's not saving his phone. I've sent him a text. We are here now. You cannot. Those people cannot sleep in any cell in Nigeria. Never. This is not Banana Republic, for goodness sake. You can't say because you have few years to be here and you are acting as if you are in Banana Republic. People who have seen police officers, where is that presumed innocent? Not even Idris, the one whose eyeglass is bigger than his achievement. The other one, Idris, Haruna, name them, Suleiman Abba. They have all gone.
Do you think that the point has been made, that the message has been?
We continue to deliver the message because Mr. President is a product of protest. I participated in a protest with him there in Ojota. He's a product of protest, for goodness sake. Had it been that Jonathan refused to hand over, heaven will not fall. Heaven will not fall. If Jonathan said I'm not handing over, not heaven will not fall, but he handed over for peace to reign. Had it been that Buhari did not come and hand over, will you be a president? Why do you want to destroy the system because you are the president? A Democrat like you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm highly disappointed. As a student, I participated in several protests with you. Why should you want to kill people because they are protesting? Peaceful protests. Look at police officers. I will not the people protesting for police officers, their welfare. And I'm highly supported to police officers. Go and ask those that intimidated people. Look at how their life is. They give you bullets. Can't you use their brain? You are targeting people.
Shooting life.
Must you shoot? Can't you do eye service?
For your salary.
They will use you and they retire.
For your salaries to be increased, you are targeting us because we are common Nigerians. You are wearing uniforms. They should free this man. The free of Nnamdi Kanu is the freedom and relief of Nigerians because we have our fundamental rights to protest. Now they are just shooting tear gas to everybody. Now the police that is shooting tear gas after their retirement, they will still complain and cry out. We are the one that will even come out again to protest for them, for their pension, which they are suffering now. Let them release Nnamdi Kanu. Now they can see the massive crowd we have in Apo. That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. We are just telling Tinubu that should release Nnamdi Kanu. What Nnamdi Kanu did, they can't provide it out. And they can't, even though with everything they charge Nnamdi Kanu for, they didn't see any traces. And they didn't see anything to hold him.
Yeah, no evidence.
No evidence.
No evidence.
Now me, I'm calling on President Tinubu that should release Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
Now, we demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Right now. Let's go. Nnamdi Kanu now! Nnamdi Kanu now! Nnamdi Kanu!
Where did he say?
What did he say? No hear anything.
So guys, if you were able to see what happened yesterday, honestly, it was much. You guys saw the crowd, people who pulled up, in this protest to demand the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Like, this is not an ordinary matter, like, at all. After everything that happened at the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest, the police tear-gassing them, tear-gassing peaceful protesters, the arrest, the intimidation, the arrest of Aloye Jimako and Nnamdi Kanu's brother, Fine Boy Kanu. Sowore finally spoke out, and his message was, "We will be back stronger." Now, that line alone, my people shake everywhere, because when Sowore speaks like that, something big is about to happen. So, the fact that he came out to say this, it means that they're going to strategize next time, to demand for his release. Me, I was thinking that, okay, this protest was actually going to last for 2 days or 3 days, but it lasted 1 day because of what is going on, because of how the government are treating them. Someone is coming out to peacefully protest, and you're shooting at them. You don't want them to exercise their right again. Let's be honest, like, this protest wasn't even violent. People came out peacefully, demanding justice for Nnamdi Kanu, whose detention has dragged on despite court rulings and international pressure. But instead of listening, what did the government do? They used tear gas, arrest, and intimidation, even targeting lawyers like Barrister Aloye Jimako and Fine Boy Kanu, Kanu's own brother. That's why Sowore's reaction was different this time. You could see the anger and disappointment in his face. If you guys looked at when he was in a Rise TV interview, you can see the anger in his face and disappointment. He was so disappointed. He didn't just speak for IPOB or the Southeast. He spoke for every Nigeria who is tired of oppression and injustice. Like, when Sowore said, "We will be back stronger," it's not just a motivational line. It's a strategic declaration. He's telling the system, you can chase us, arrest us, so he is telling the system, you can chase us, arrest us, or take us up, but you can't silence us. It's a sign that the movement is not backing down but reorganizing. The next time, it won't just be Sowore and a few protesters. It will be thousands from across the country, possibly with international observers watching. This is also a psychological move. Sowore wants to show the government that fear tactics no longer work. Every tear gas canister used only fuels more anger, more awareness, and more resistance. Now, this last warning isn't about violence, it's about accountability. Sowore is indirectly warning the Nigerian authorities that history will not forget how they treat peaceful protesters. He also reminds them that power is temporal, but the people's voices last forever. In politics, that last warning, that if someone gives you a last warning, you should be careful about that. Now, let's be real, my people. Whether you like Sowore or not, this man has consistently, this man has consistency and courage. He's been arrested, brutalized, and still stands tall. Like, this statement, "We'll be back stronger," isn't just about him. It's about every Nigerian who's been silenced but still refuses to give up. What happened during that protest is another reminder that our democracy is being tested. The right to protest is constitutional. But when the state uses force to stop people from expressing themselves, it becomes clear that fear has replaced dialogue. Sowore's courage might just inspire the next generation of activists, those who will no longer beg for justice, but demand it with unity, peace, and consistency. Like, people, I don't know why they keep on, that they keep keeping Kanu in detention. Do they think that if anything should happen to that man in detention, do they think that somebody else will not rise up like him? Of course. if anything happens to Kanu, like somebody else is going to rise up like him. So I don't know the reason why they're still keeping him in detention. The government should understand one thing: the more you suppress truth, the louder it becomes. They should focus on dialogue, not force. They should listen and not intimidate. Because when people like Sowore say we'll be back stronger, it means the people are waking up. And when Nigerians wake up, even the strongest system can change. They can shake. So my people, what do you think about Sowore's last warning? Do you believe he's right that his fight will come back stronger, or do you think government is making a big mistake by using force instead of listening? Now, guys, I'd love you guys to drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And also, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do what to subscribe, to like and share this video. And also, see you guys again in my next live session. And don't forget to turn on all notifications to get all the latest news in this channel. So when we drop new updates or anything concerning that's going on in Nigeria. So, guys, thanks for watching.